we'll get a match he probably feels better about. I think going up against the Freya over the Sojourn is probably fine with here. Alcacia's composition really want to make use of that mobility of the Sim TPs as well. Course has found a nice little off angle though, being a bit of a nuisance here. Well, those aim shots, yep, explosive bolts with some damage can be spread and followed up upon by TVNT, who is though traded out. And then once you take the fight to this pretty defensive Alcacia core, you have to suffer the wrath of the Cass.
Yeah, and the Cassie inside of this close quarter area, not the hero you want to be fighting, especially you see Psycho there on the Genji trying to make a play. Quartz actually takes him out there with an explosive at the end, but you do not want to be in that type of situation, right? Ziyad in Baby Diva form,
not great.
Just going to move that car. We'll actually see Quartz going to go over to Ash. So this is
okay.
A hero we haven't seen in a bit, but
I think we'll get there.
Dynamite, like heal pressure. Very interesting selection.
This is actually pretty bad because you are giving up a huge amount of ground here for free. You might even allow Alcacia just to, rather Twisted Minds to catch up on your total because your Diva can't do the thing. If Ziyad dies before they get a remake as well, that's even worse. The threat, of course, of the damage off. Oh, okay,
come on.
No, no way.
There would be a Diva remake at some point. That is perfectly timed. Ziyad is such a joke.
No way.
That's rough. Okay.
Whoever was the Genji.
Well,
everything I said about it being bad.
Fortunate.
But, I mean, Psycho just gets squashed there by the remake. So, Psycho now gonna go back and play.
I mean, they're always trying to do that.
So we see some Genjis.
Divas players are smart. Most of those things.
What started on Freya,
Crazy.
then a spawn on Ash, now over to Cass. So, Quartz, I think, just trying to get comfortable with what hit scan they want to work with here on Esperanza. As it seems like can't figure it out just yet.
Yeah. Maybe something that works a little bit more with this brig, perhaps. Stay a little bit closer, benefit from Inspire procs, and hit hard anyone who tries to take the fight to you. So Consumer Rush was used here. To what effect, though, sort of remains to be seen. Disengage there from Twisted Minds with this relatively mobile composition. Fun checkmate getting caught out there by Court. So the switch over to Cassidy already generating some results. And Simple almost went down there to the Deadeye, but maybe a slightly early activation of that one from the Cass of Lambda. It makes the kill impossible to collect. Ziyad gets a Suzu and should be able to get out of trouble for now.
I mean, is this the worst thing for Alcacia, right? They end up having to use Orbital Ray on the other side. I know you have Simple now playing Brig, so no rally available, and Alcacia, like, they get a pretty sizable lead, right? They double up, so not the worst thing for Alcacia that this goes back to mid-map.
I think they're happy enough here to play and make use of that high ground. Secret checkmate's good. This time, stuff that fight much better
too easy.
Well, on the brig, sometimes it is pretty straightforward. Usually the first target for those traces. Now, Deadeye is completely stifled by the entirety of that defense matrix. Checkmate here, a sign of respect. Doesn't run it up on Quartz, but eventually we'll be able to bring this Cassidy down. There's far too much pressure, and all the while, Alcacia grouping up now to push this bot towards the checkpoint.
Yeah, and they're in a very good spot to take it, right? Funny Astro.
Yeah, Cassidy is crazy. This, I don't know. Just feels like he's way too strong this season.
We'll see if this is just to speed them out of the spawn, or we're gonna kind of stay on it. He will stay on Lucio, so we get that like funny Astro trademark Lucio pick here. As look, you need a little bit of that speed, survivability with the sound barrier for what Alcacia is bringing at the moment.
Continue rush though here for Landon once again. This time, Alcacia in a position to make use of it, given the Twisted Minds cannot freely disengage away. And they struggle. It's just a numerical disadvantage now with that haste buff being given over.
They just cannot win. They cannot win a fight. Twisted Minds.
And again, moving into another fight with checkmate.
Well, you guys can do it. You guys gotta win a fight.
Quartz at least has activated a relief valve by taking his opposite number down.
And we watch Checkmate play so much Sim. It's awesome to watch him play like a Tracer and even Genji throughout the series. Just remind people like how good he is on these other heroes as well. But that pick by Quartz is massive, right? It actually gives Twisted Minds the space to get a fight towards mid-map. And look, we have half of the game gone already. They have to make a serious push here with control of the bot soon, or else they're going to be in a very difficult spot up against the clock.
Now, so far, they've just not been able to win consecutive fights, Matt. That's why they've never been able to get past this first little hurdle. Same issue might be here, if I'm honest with you. Sound barrier comes up for Alcacia. Simple holding onto this though, but well, the loss of TMT's mech might really hurt them. Both Cassidy's are down now. The Tracers, though, get to run roughshod, and Checkmate is more than up for the task.
Yes, it's an early sound barrier from Alcatia, right? They kind of engage with that sound barrier, and I think
Excuse me.
their logic is it's like not worth throwing the Kitsune rush into, especially at that moment of the game. And most likely, right, if Alcatia wins this fight, they still need another fight to gain any type of progress, right? So for Twisted Minds, it's like, look, let's just not end up burning some of our key ultimates here in a fight that we're probably going to lose anyway. Now an opportunity here behind Sibyl's Kitsune rush to gain some serious progress.
Self-destruct here. Opportunity to pop back in for Ziad and keep fighting. This is Twisted Minds burning ultimates just to get into the middle of the map, but I guess that's the unenviable situation of being behind the 8-ball by a significant margin on this map. At least Quartz has his high ground, and Alcatia gets stuffed into that back corner for a moment. But they are going to give it a chance to spring forth. They're going to use
Oh, the first 3 wins. Okay, so he's best of 3.
The prescribed response here for Funny Astro. Lambda has that defense matrix in his face, but have a swing. And he finds Funny Astro. This is not enough of it there for TVNT to shutting him down.
No, dude.
Off the map for Twisted Minds, and Alcatia again will surge ahead.
I mean, that's just silly. He walks like right past TVNT, right?
No, the red Quartz is crazy.
Like a clip on the Funny Astro, and then just takes out Simple. And yeah, you know, you're gonna stagger Quartz. I mean, this has just been
the guy low-key twisted.
Really, nothing has gone TM's way as Alcatia with like a 60-meter lead here. As we are getting in a crunch time. As Quartz now, this is like what, the 4th or 5th hero he's played here on Esperanza. Gonna go over and play some Sombra.
Doesn't feel great against the Cassidy. Hindrance against Sombra is basically a death sentence for something maybe needed to keep Ziad from being so effective. It's a concession though, it really feels that way. Virus though, catches on the Kalex. Alcatia will be able to move forward here, and again we just reset the fight back in the middle of the map, just as the team in orange have been hoping for.
It definitely feels like, look, Sombra's not great into the Cassidy, but Ziad is the one that they're worried about. I mean, Ziad just kind of like running into the back line, just doing whatever he wants, being able to get out. I think that's the player they're worried about here. Not necessarily, like, even though Labs has had a pretty good game, right? They're not necessarily overly worried about his impact. It's really Ziad.
Does this give them an edge because it takes away a little bit from the raw output? TMNT wants to dance on that high ground. It's a very charged up Checkmate sim that is burning him down. Funny Astro, the next to face the scrutiny of Checkmate and doesn't hold up for very long. Another D-Mech on TVNT, and it's Groundhog Day out there for Twisted Minds players. We are running it back now with Alcatia shepherding the bot forward.
I mean, to give you an idea, when I said that they're worried about Ziad, right, more than Lambda, Ziad currently is 22-0 and number 2 in the team in terms of damage, right? So a huge impact here from the Diva. Just doing the stuff we know he can usually do, really what he did to everybody in EMEA throughout Stage 2 and quite frankly, everybody at EWC except Falcons in the end. So Ziad, no surprise with his dominant Diva play.
Great, EMP's ready, but Kitsune Rush already got used, so the timing might not be that beneficial for Quartz now. Hack attempt on Ziad, broken up. Defense Matrix also weak through it. Now there's a Deadeye. That means that Twisted Minds will be ill-advised to come forward at all. Here's a Suzu now. Hack does catch on to 3, rather. EMP is good, but Checkmate had already burned Simple and TVNT down in that small room, so Quartz is a couple of seconds too late maybe with that EMP, or maybe it's just not enough.
And I mean, Ziad still lives throughout all of that, right? So even with
That
these
is crazy.
adjustments to try and put pressure onto the Diva, not enough, and Alcatia has just blown this game completely open, Mitch. An opportunity to potentially finish the map. Another hero swap here for Quartz. Just trying to find anything that will work here. Is some shots in a Checkmate gets him quite low. Not enough to finish him off, though.
Quartz here just hoping to be able to wrap around at some point and be impactful, but again, the carousel of mystery heroes continues for the Twisted Minds hit scan player. Fortunately, the Checkmate pick from Psycho's hands will at least give them a way to get back into the map. But we are in overtime, and as you know, folks, it's overtime with over 100 meters to overcome. The odds of Twisted Minds being able to take the map from here are unbelievably low.
I mean, they would need to win. You're probably looking at, like, I mean, they don't even have checkpoint yet, right? I mean, you're looking at like 5-6 fights.
Probably 4 or 5,
so
yeah.
This has to be a like legendary
point.
historic run here.
On point.
Twisted Minds, with there's some spaghetti dropping from Alcatia. So we'll see if Alcatia. Okay, so it's going to be Downpour. Looks like they're going to save some of their ultimates. So that's a fight win for Twisted Minds. We'll head back towards the bot. They should be able to get checkpoint off of this. So that's like one big key fight off the table. Good thing for Alcatia, though, is they end up not like trying to commit some of those support ultimates, try and win it there. They hold on to them for this next one.
These players have been in this position a number of times, being drastically ahead on this Esperanza map. And knowing that it's definitely better to fight another day if they want to hold on to
Crazy. Very mixed. I'm probably about to do some crazy stuff right here.
They've just been building on by being successful. They are going to have at least a little bit of work with. There's a sound barrier though. Everybody announced
Yeah.
really difficult for Twisted
GG's.
Minds to navigate this situation. Half the time they are shooting at a shield.
Jeez.
Have the bullseye. And the mark is hit. Nicely done. Alcancia take the series away in a 5-map banger, but never really fall behind on this last map.
I mean, goes all the way down to a game 5, but game 5 not exactly, you know, the most competitive of all of them. Twisted Minds, they did a great job battling back. Obviously, a chance for the reverse sweep, but in Alcatia just as dominant as ever in that 5th and final map. Then I also think you see TM, right? Like, didn't really seem like they knew what they wanted.
4.1 million points. Like channel points.
Working is half the issue, right? We see a number of switches from Quartz who basically like comes out of every one of these games with a really impressive amount of damage. The guy, like the consistency with which he can hit his shots is legendary. But maybe the ideas is not really coming together. This is Twisted Minds though, being able to play a style that has suited them in the past, right? With that hazard-based composition. I really think it's, you know, the best looks of both these teams thrown together. But eventually, Alcatia happen across a map where their style just gives them an undeniable edge.
Yeah, and I feel Twisted Minds, I think they're right
and the hammer is okay.
Some of these like hazard-based comps. I just don't think they figured out like everything around. I thought TVNT actually had a pretty good series, Mitch. All things considered, I thought him and Quartz played quite well. We saw Simple.
Quartz plays really. I mean, that guy's it's really good.
Thing here for TM, and quite frankly, it might just be that Alcatia is so good at these comps that they just kind of mastered over stage 2 that like it doesn't really matter what the other team plays, right? Like they're gonna have an answer for it. I'll be curious to see how these two teams go against everybody else.
Counter watch.
In my head, I find it hard to imagine that there's like teams that are above
The game should be called Counter Watch, literally.
Squarely with Twisted Minds and Alcatia.
Should call the game Counter Watch.
But with the ultimates, you know, now sort of dissolving and those players sort of being distributed across a little bit more, there are teams that we would hope to see step up, but it's a standard that's been set by Alcatia and Twisted Minds, and they've maintained these very solid rosters. They are going to be the teams to beat as per usual. Chase gets mixed in a bit there as well, so glad we got to see some more of the Ukrainian. I think that, you know, that one map where they come in, though, Atlas, it does feel like it's a little disjointed. Maybe just the coordination, which you really need in a Wrecking Ball comp, isn't present in enough of an amount.
It's also... Oh. So he's back.
I'm back. I'm supposed to be back. There we go. I am back. I am back. And
You're like the voice of God in our ear. I was like, whoa, who's that?
That's me. That's what they call me. Yeah, no, it did end. It did end up being a very, very quick affair. No, a very drawn out affair here, and that's exactly what we expected to see from these two teams. I have to say though, given the fact that Alcatia is not really playing the quote-unquote meta comp, that they're still leaning so heavily into like that Symmetra and everything that made them like just so dominant in stage 2, and seeing that the second most dominant team in the region, who is leaning more into like a dive kind of situation into the current meta, that they don't manage to win that doesn't bode well for any other team in this region. Because if Twisted Mind can't find an answer to it, then like actually who can?
There's also a part of me that Twisted Minds could also look at this match and be like, well, screw it, let's just go back to playing Sim ourselves, right? Like they're like just as good as it, right? Like, so they could just say, yeah, you know what, screw it, just put Yubi back in and let's go back and do what was working during stage 2. But I do think having at least like this hazard look, and it looked good, is a big win for TM to have in their back pocket.
The Sojourn ban in that last map, I think, was pretty dastardly. I think that like that's what Quartz looked so good on when they were playing Kings Row. And the Kings Row comp was very good. It's not a sim-based one, right? Psycho is in the game, so they're looking to have like a secondary flanker option there with a sort of like Genji or Tracer mixed in. And they look really solid, but you're going up against Checkmate. It's always going to be a tough matchup. I think this is the kind of game where, yes, Twisted Mind's weaknesses get exploited, but there aren't too many teams outside of maybe this new look Virtus Pro that's going to be able to take them to that point in their game. And just, you know, to circle back to the question of how they'll look throughout the rest of the stage, I think they're fine. I think they're looking solid. I want to see them firm up Chase's role in this team a little bit more to give them the other option, because he has offered that to teams in EMEA since OWCS began, and I think it's something that's really worth investing in.
Yeah, and I think as we take a look at some of the highlights here, right? Like the Widow play from Quartz was good here on Rialto, but as soon as they couldn't run that Widow anymore, things kind of just fell apart. And I gotta say, for TM, like they almost ended up losing Atlas, right? They end up getting that first 2 checkpoints, and then Alcati kind of battles back, takes it to a tie scenario. So potentially series could have ended earlier, but TM kind of closes the deal there. And then like you mentioned, Mitch, like very good on Kings Row. So that's one that I think a lot of teams feel comfortable on, but that's one that is right in TM's wheelhouse.
Yeah, I mean, and that's Alcati choosing to pick it into TM, so like I do wonder what they think about like maps like Eichenwalde and Hollywood, especially like Eichenwalde definitely has been an option for teams in the past. Really do feel like, and it's giving you like you don't have to play just one certain style. We've seen like a bunch of Orisa, we've seen Diva mixed in like a ton on that map as well. So I'm curious that they went away from it, because I don't think two teams in EMEA know each other better than these guys. Like they've always played in high stakes games, and they've always been very, very long series, whether online, whether at LAN, doesn't seem to matter. So I still plenty of learnings to take away from both squads here in this series. I think Rialto was fun to see that map kind of mixed in here. Wuyang, I think on 2 maps, both teams had a crack at that. I don't know if those combos, with Wuyang Ultimate are really sort of making a huge difference right now. I think Simple's Immortality Fields often sort of shut that potential down, but it's nice to see there is another angle that you can attack the meta from.
Yeah, I think for both of them, since both of them utilized the Wuyang, it didn't look like either of them have been giving those Wuyang comps a lot of playtime. But how about we just ask them ourselves? We should have a winner's interview with Landon, I want to say. It is Landon. Hello and welcome to the show. First of all, of course, we have been treated to another close series between those two teams. We know how familiar you are with one another. How did you feel coming into this one, given the huge meta shift that we're seeing in other regions and all the buffs and nerfs we've seen to so many really integral meta heroes? Did you have like a specific game plan crafted against Twisted Minds there?
Going into this series, and to be honest, like most of the regular series, we're trying to like prepare as much as we can for Stockholm. So we're playing like a larger variety of comps, even if it's not something like we end up actually playing in the playoffs in Stockholm, like in the World's Finals. It's like helping, I think, us improve as players. So going into this match, like we had a couple of ideas of stuff to try to kind of like test the waters for how the rest of the stage is going to go.
Yeah. I'm sure. Obviously, you guys end up taking the game to Kings Row, and we know that's a map we've seen you guys play against Twisted Minds on a lot of occasions. You also worked chasing a little bit there on that Atlas map in the series here. So, I think more on that note, tell us how that's gone, integrating Chase. Obviously, he's been around the EU scene a ton, and it's kind of giving you a bit of a wrecking ball option. How do you sort of feel about where that sort of style, that look for your team is right now, and how should we expect to see more of that in the future?
It's something like we're still like working really hard on, but Chase as a player has been really nice to work with. Like whether he's playing in game, like with his main tanks, or like out of game, helping us with review and like being like an extra like smart player to help give input on stuff. It's been really nice to have.
Yeah, Landon, congrats on the win again today. Obviously, a lot of changes with Season 18. Didn't seem to change a lot of like what you guys were rolling with today, but like overall, like what's been when you guys are like scrimming and since Season 18 has started for you, what's been like the biggest difference that like whether it's like a balance change or a perk adjustment is made with a specific hero? It could be good or bad.
I mean, they took out our weapon. The weapon we had that was like the most broken thing in the entire game, and it probably should have been removed. It was a good call. was Sims long TP. The stuff you could do with Sims long TP was never met. Overwatch maps were not designed for it. Like it was unbelievable. So all like our little cheese comps that we were saving for matches and stuff, we unfortunately don't get to show them all off, but it's been fun to adjust.
I mean, it doesn't look like you need it regardless. It's been a great look. Many looks we've seen from you today, and we can't wait to see what else you have in store for us in stage 3. Landon, thank you so much, and once again, congrats.
Thank you.
That's Landon from Alcatia. Always great to chat with those OG players, but you know what? I also always enjoy getting to pick the brains of newer players, and that could be you, dear viewer. That's right. Why don't you just head on over to faceit.com and make an account, play in the Faceit tournament, start earning rewards as well as you get some Overwatch 2 drops, and perhaps you might end up in the Masters division. I know Matt had a crack at that at one point.
We had a brief run.
Very brief.
We were, but maybe this is my time. Maybe
yeah, I mean, off-season is coming, right? Maybe not this
honestly.
year. Maybe 2026 could be your year.
I already have a Faceit account, so all I need to do is to start playing.
That's right.
Probably the hardest part is going to be that improving. That
aspect,
one. I feel confident that I can play and then I can earn. I feel less confident on the improving my play.
And the finding teammates.
But you will improve as a person.
And finding
I think
teammates too.
Losing is learning, so lots of learning will be done if you're in Matt's team.
Maybe
you're just losing. We learn nothing. That's okay. We'll learn something about the next 2 teams facing off against one another. Our second EMEA opening day match is coming up after a quick break. Genji taking on Team Vision. You don't want to miss it.
Watch on the official OWCS broadcast. Choose and switch between the mainstream and up to 4-player POVs, or watch them all at once. Join the chat and earn drops. Watch it on your mobile. Or cast it to the big screen with Chromecast. Watch it, control it, face it.
What was it Shifu told me? Nothing in the world is as yielding as water. But in its ebb and flow... I honestly forget the rest. So, I'll just go with the flow. Booyah! Making a splash. Always good to hydrate. Much better. Oh, easy! Oh, check me out! Bye! Ultimate's ready. You're protected. Go make a splash. Hope you brought a change of clothes. Guess my training's paying off. Let's keep it going. Lee Wan Honglan! Wouldn't want to be ya! You just witnessed my most famous party trick.
Are we getting drops for these? They will already earn them all. Oh, the queuing move. What's these people talking about? Level 200 kitty player. Play a lot. I'll be right back. Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone. One match down and many more to go on our opening day of stage 3. Zoe here, joined by Mitch and Matt. We're getting things set up for our second match. Now, we have Genji looking to redeem themselves, I dare say, from what felt like a little bit of a disappointing stage 2. And we also going to see the return of Vision Esports. We have them in the mix. Not Vision Esports, Team Vision. It's either Team something or Team Esports something. You know how it is. Anyway,
Esports.
Team Vision Esports. Yeah, those are the guys.
Like, so you just malfunction
Team
there for a
Vision. Yeah, just kind of.
Sorry,
Just
yeah,
quick,
stop
quick
working.
re-
It's all
yeah,
good.
just a quick
Reset,
restart.
reboot. It's all good. Day one, it's rough out here. No, okay, so yeah, Team Vision, they are back
Okay.
in the mix. They have been with us for OWCS in stage 1. And we did not get to see them in stage 2. Of course, they did make some changes to their roster looking at their return. But let's talk
Yeah.
about Gen G first.
Big changes
We've
as
been
well
disappointed.
for these guys.
Yeah, very big changes.
Okay, so like
the biggest
they have,
changes.
they have a sick team, right? And the coaching staff is, pretty legendary, right? Some of the decisions I think that they made in terms of role, like the comps they were trying to play, it didn't always look like it really fit Mag. But they have a pretty incredible DPS line, right? Who are you? Unfortunately, didn't pan out for them, which is kind of wild. Also a legendary player, but they brought backbone onto this team, who obviously has had incredible results with top teams in the past. And Exodia was a real standout, I think, over much of Genji's play in the past. They also have an embarrassing amount of good support players now. Kanale obviously was on this squad before alongside Zox, but Sky has joined the team. Crispy also came back onto this roster, so don't always know what look they're going to try and put forward here, and there's been a lot of shuffling with them. I think they're going to do better than last
There's
time.
always this risk, though, right? There's always this risk because we have high expectation on the org in general because Gen G is just like such a household name in esports in general. And then you're adding so much name value to your roster. So once again, we're heading into a new stage. The expectations will be very, very high. So anything below a top 4 finish might make us all disappointed again.
Agreed.
Look,
Agreed.
I was so excited for this team last phase, and then they hurt me. They hurt
They
all
did.
of us. And I like this team. I just want to see them play first before I let them back into my life.
Disappointment, the disappointment is coming from a place of love.
Yes,
Well,
yes, because they should have been good.
They probably should have beaten. I think the one game for me that was pretty decisive in terms of this team was the loss to the Ultimates. I think Gen G beat all the teams that expect them to. Vision though, this roster is also looking kind of sick.
Yeah, they
it's kind of
they
under
have
the
quite
radar.
who's returning from them? So one has been in the mix before. Choice of One has definitely been like a
I mean, the
stand
choice they
out.
won pickup is
Violet
crazy.
is
I
in
don't
the
know
mix
how the
now
heck
as
they got
well.
Violet's been on this team for like 2 phases now. Like,
Yep.
he was on this team last phase and they didn't qualify. And now he's on this one.
They're also gonna
mean-
have Tama as their main tank. I'm not super familiar with Tama, the Austrian player. That's where my knowledge of Tama stops. But he's been at Wasp. Oh no, what was what's the team name?
Yeah, Wasp X Oh No. Also like on like
yeah, right.
Nuage and like that Selfless team.
Yeah.
So has been
Nuage.
competing, I would say, like on
Good
the
job.
fringes of OWCS in E EMEA.
This team, I feel like, to me, is like a complete like wild card, right? Like you
Right.
look at them and like the roster is like, hey, this roster is like pretty sweet. It's just like I think everybody just like wants to see what it looks like. You beat a team like Gen G here to kick things off. Like, yeah, I mean, look, after Twisted Minds, Alcatia and VP, right? Like, if you're able to beat Gen G, like you can have an argument like this is like, you know, your team that's like right on the outside looking in. So for me, it's like, okay, they have a pretty sweet roster. They have some obvious potential. It's just what will it look like against some of these upper echelon teams? Or Gen G, I think, is a pretty good matchup for them early on.
Yeah, Choice they won, by the way. Like, let's not forget, Guangzhou Charge was on this team. Like, Element Mystic before that. Kind of an insane player, and obviously spent some time in OWCS in the Korean region. Also played on Rock Esports for a spell. So
We're gonna end it here.
a pretty sick potential star play using an import slot on. This guy is your guy.
Yeah, it's just for Vision, for me, the question is just like, how would it all mesh together? It's a very multicultural affair we have there with